kind of things can you kind of levers can you pull now with offense, forward lines, combinations, things like that? How deep do you want to go in terms of things you can change 10 games into a season?
We need to. We need results to change, so we've got to continue on our process. A couple of things, we're a little healthier on the blue line, so I think that allows us to move Jack back up front. And he's a guy that's crossed a lot of T's and dotted a lot of I's for us, that whatever we've needed him to do, he has done. And so he's earned the opportunity to go back to his natural position, and I'm hoping he can energize a line just like he did our D-core. Being able to have some guys back with Schultz being back in the lineup. Hensler having another week of practice after coming off his upper body injury. I'm hoping that interjection of really of just some consistency can help us a bit offensively.
I know 19, 7, and 12 have done really well for you as a line. Do you consider saying, okay, maybe it's time we try them with different guys?
Yeah. Yes. And I think you'll see, like right now, we're in a point where we've got 2 games left in our first segment here, and we've got to squeeze as much out of it as we can. So whatever needs to be done needs to be done. And from my standpoint, the guys that are playing, we need to get on the ice as much as possible. And what I mean by playing is they're going out and playing the game the right way, creating offense while not giving up defensively, and making sure that we can try and be a 4-line team. And if we can't be and we need to shorten that a little bit, we'll do that.
You said that the D is healthier. I mean, is that how much does that do for you in terms of being able? I mean, the guys you've been able to lean on have done a pretty good job, admirable job, with the time that they've had to play 25, 27 minutes. But
yeah.
How much spreading that out does that help as you look at over the course of a whole season too?
Well, a couple of things. One, it helps our week also, just because being able to practice the way that you need to practice as far as reps, work to rest ratio, those types of things. And then second, you look at the individuals themselves. A year ago, Schultz was finding his way, had an incredible summer, and came back, and his runway from July to when he played his first 2 games, he's just a different player than he was a year ago. He's a guy that brings some chemistry to our locker room also when he's pulling a jersey over his shoulder, as instead of walking by and going into the training room. He's got some leadership qualities. And so he's going to bring that to the locker room on a consistent basis. And Logan being a young guy, and you and I had discussed this a little bit earlier, prior to him getting the upper body injury, I thought he had played his best complete 60 plus minutes at Notre Dame, offensively, defensively. And so when you can get into a little bit of a rhythm and be able to play 6 defensemen, play all 6 of them, match them up with some partners and have some consistency and not disrupt what's going on up front. You've noticed Jack has played defense, and then when we go to a penalty kill, he's up killing as a forward. And so I think depth can help you at different levels, and it's already helping us so far this week in practice.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on how you thought William did against Minnesota, kind of getting thrown into the starting role last minute, and how is Tommy progressing?
First of all, I think William did his job. He gave us an opportunity to win both nights. When you see a goaltender get to that 915, 920 save percentage, he's doing his job. Now, again, a lot of that is, I don't think that it's strictly a number. There's times of when those saves are happening, and can you make a save? Soler made a really good save, I thought, at the beginning of the third period to not allow us to extend it to 3-1. So that's important, but I thought William stopped the ones that he should. a couple that he shouldn't. He gave us an opportunity. Now, Tommy's still a day-to-day. He'll be going on the ice this week, and we want to make sure that we're looking out for our best interests for this Friday, Saturday, as well as for the remainder of the first half.
Mike, what's the next step in Quinn Finley's game?
Well, the one thing that I've really appreciated about Quinn, other than scoring goals, his entire game's starting to round out. Defensively, he's better than he was a year ago. His attention to detail that way. Even talking about his dailies. A young player going to a mature player, you have to have some growth in different areas, and I'm seeing that in the weight room, the body that he has put together of work, training, nutrition, how he's interacting now as somebody that's leaned on a consistent basis in our locker room, Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, how he's managing that. He's got a greater expectation of himself. He's interjecting that into our locker room as a greater expectation for our entire group. And I just think as he continues to grow away from the puck, you'll see Quinn Finley just continue to grow as a player, both on and off the rink. He's an integral part to what's going on here at our program.
I know goalie injuries can make coaches nervous because you're dealing with a position that doesn't have a lot of depth to begin with. Do you have to form contingency plans for, like, what can we do here? Do we have to look around campus? Do we have to?
It's not your
like other teams. I think North Dakota just did that. Brought in someone who had played high school just to be a third goalie. Does it get to that point? Have you kind of started thinking out? Well, if this lasts a long time, are we going to have to kind of pull the trigger on that?
Yeah, you've been around a bit. You've seen things, whether it's this year or other years that you've been doing your job. Yes, and we're going through that right now. We'll see how the rest of this week lays out. I think it's going in a really good direction. But yeah, and that's something that we actually processed this summer. Just because of what you're talking about, when you only have three and one goes down, it's not hard for you to look and say, okay, what if another one goes down? And so for us, we're in process of that. We're not quite to that point, but we've definitely vetted some of those options.
What do you expect with this series with Penn State?
Well, if you watch them on tape and what they did to a team that we couldn't quite catch this weekend, they went into Mariucci Arena and 3M Arena and I think held Minnesota to 12 or 13 shots on net in their own building. Penn State, year in and year out, is a team that they're always open. And what I mean by that is once they get a first touch on a puck, it's going to the net. So shot volume sticks for us when we're back in our zone, making sure we're inside dots, because the puck is going to come to the net consistently, and then they try and outnumber you there. I think momentum in this building is really important. They've got one of the more, let's just say, involved student sections in the country, and it's right behind your goaltender. And so getting off to good starts and trying to keep them at bay as long as you possibly can, I think is important, as it is anytime you go on the road. Their penalty killing is one of the tops in the country. Minnesota had a good number of power plays and struggled against it a bit. And you saw what their power play did here. So we'll have our work cut out from us from that standpoint. But for us right now, it's us getting our book of business done this week and being focused for the puck drop on Friday and finding a way to get that game in our side of the ledger.
It's signing season just about, and then they drop in the CHL change on you, and I'm sure that has overwhelmed a lot of college recruiters, coaches up and down the line of, like, how do we build this into what we do now? I wonder how you plan for that, what that changes in terms of what you guys maybe do for this week, but also years into the future too.
It's an ongoing process. You look at it you look at the CHL, and I think there's over 50 teams within the 3 leagues, and you just start rounding out those numbers per team, and there's a lot of players that are available in that pool that weren't available 3 weeks ago. There was an idea that they might be, so we've been planning for that, but I don't think there's a team in the country that isn't out in some way, shape, or form watching CHL players because they're a recruitable athlete now come August. So it's been a change. It's something that's definitely on our radar, as it is with, I think, everybody else in college hockey, and it's something that we've got to address and make sure that we're doing our job to get out and see the ones that we need to see.